How's it going, people? Welcome back to AFTV and welcome back to News Daily. Hope everyone is well. I just want to start this show off by saying rest in peace to Alan Miller, former Arsenal goalkeeper. He played for us between 1984 and 1994. Won a couple of things in between those years, but we just want to say rest in peace and condolences to his family and friends. James.
Yeah, sad note to start on.
Yeah, I think it's the right note to start on.
Absolutely. I didn't get to see it myself, but yeah, sad news, and obviously all the sort of outpouring emotions come from the Arsenal community. I've seen a lot of it on social media, so yeah, that's kind of been a sad story, but nice to see sort of the love and support. So yeah,
and he was only 51. So
yeah, really tragic, really tragic.
Yeah,
right. We've got a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, onto the news
as always. So yeah, Cecil and Robbie kicked it off yesterday. Did you watch it?
Yeah, I caught up with it. I didn't watch it live, but I caught up.
It was good. We've got this new set. Look, we've got lights. We've got all sorts. I'm loving it. We've got what shirts have you got behind there? Have you got any of those?
This is the Invincibles.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on. I got a couple of these.
No, I was wondering what names really.
Oh, what names?
I think I'd have got Bergkamp 10.
I've got Invincibles 04 on one. I've got Henri.
Nice, good work.
I'm not sure if I've got the Bergkamp one in Invincibles, but
fair enough. Right, lots to talk about. Bissouma. We're going to go into Bissouma, the latest from the AFC Bell. God, I love the AFC Bell. I'm so glad they're back. Because there was a bit where they were like, we're done, we're moving on to other things, but they're back, so thank you to the Bell.
And I actually called out AFC Bell last summer.
Did you?
And then the day after, we signed Partey, and they were the ones that announced it.
What do you mean? What did you say?
I don't like any of these Twitter in the nose, know-it-alls, whatever they want to be called. I feel like they feed off of Arsenal fans' misery and tears. You know, we're very much a fan base that's, gone through our patient period, and now we're in a state of
desperation.
Crisis. Yeah, that's the right word. So when I see these in the nose coming out left, right, and centre with this player, that player, this player, I tend to fob it all off.
Fair enough.
But the one that I actually called out, literally 24 hours later, he confirmed Thomas Partey. Not that it meant much for the season, but credit to him for that one.
Yeah,
let's see if this summer he can build on that reputation.
They delivered. Fair play. We're going to talk about Bissouma, sort of whether he's the right profile for Arsenal, what's being said sort of around journalists, the AFC Bell, everything. Emi Buendia. Now this is interesting because this kind of develops every day. First, yesterday, obviously, they talked about on the show that, there was a first bid. I wasn't sure whether it had been accepted or rejected.
Yeah.
We're now hearing that a second bid might have been made. We're going to go through the sources and everything about that. Others are saying that no, there hasn't, but, Arsenal aren't far off and the talks are ongoing. We talk about Joel Glazer because he's bringing in a fan advisory board to Manchester United, amongst a few other things.
And I love that subject. So
yeah, I know you love that subject. It had to be today, didn't it, when I'm on the show?
Right timing.
And Johan Djourou has retired, so we'll just briefly look back at him as well. So quite a few things to go through over the next 27 minutes or so. Should we start with Bissouma? Is that
I think so. Yeah, it makes the most sense.
Feels the natural place to start. Well, let's just go into the news. So this is a translation from, it's a Twitter translation from the tweets coming from the AFC Bell, who said that the player in question is Bissouma, says the player is mad, in quote marks, at Arsenal and has told his agents that he agrees to join Arsenal if there is a possibility to agree on the value of the deal with Brighton. Now, when they say mad at, AFC Bell actually tweeted yesterday about Buendia in a separate tweet saying the translation's not always great. We need to sort of clear up a few things. When they say mad at Arsenal, I think he means mad about Arsenal. Like he's crazy for Arsenal and he wants Arsenal, and that's sort of cleared up by the rest of it, where he says that he's told his agents that he will join Arsenal if he can be agreed.
And this is the AFC Bell, yeah.
This is the AFC Bell. That's encouraging for me. What do you kind of make of that immediately off the bat?
Listen, if him proving me wrong, or whoever AFC Bell is proving me wrong last year, is anything to go by,
I want to meet these people.
If it's, put a face to the words on Twitter. Bissouma's definitely someone I'd want. Especially where we're at right now. We can't and never have really gone around Europe taking the top talent from top clubs. We've always been a club that's tried to be shrewd. It worked in the 90s and it worked in the early 2000s, but not so much in the last 10, 15 years. And I think Bissouma, when you look at his performance level at Brighton, you can see he's above Brighton in terms of quality. He stands out.
Yep.
So
you
why
can upset
not?
a few Brighton fans, but
it is what it is.
I agree with you. I agree with you. But so, do you think Bissouma is a shrewd bit of business? Do you see that as a,
Look, it would have been shrewd to do it last year.
Yeah.
When I went into the summer transfer last year, I said Bissouma and Buendia should be two targets we bring in. And
I said Buendia too, just saying.
And last year, I wanted to bring them in as, and I've said it before, and I don't mean this in a derogatory way, I wanted to bring them in as the side dishes to the main course.
Okay.
But having finished 8th 2 years in a row now, the side dishes have now become the main course in a sense. And that's
after the seasons they've had as well, to be fair, you know, they've kind of become more in the eyes of most people. Like, people are noticing them a bit more.
They've built on their reputation.
They have. They've absolutely. They've taken this season and built on it. It's interesting because Fabrizio Romano, who appeared on the Arsenal Lounge today on a live stream, so go check them out. He said that Bissouma's on the list of targets, but he's not the main target. The identity is unknown of a player who is more in the mould of Dani Ceballos. Now, I know a lot of people are probably going to panic when they hear that. Not everyone was Ceballos' biggest fan. I liked Ceballos. I don't think he ever did enough for us in the time he was here. But I liked him. Maybe I liked his profile more than I actually liked what we got in the end from him. But I think they're talking more, or Romano's talking more a technician in midfield. An Aouar, you know, Houssem Aouar type player.
Are we fooling ourselves with Aouar? Because I was not his biggest fan last season. I think he rolled off a couple of good Champions League performances. And this season, not that I watched French football much, but when you look at it from a bird's eye view, he hasn't had the best of seasons. We've just talked about Bissouma and Buendia building on their reputation. I think Aouar's reputation has taken a hit this season. So.
Yeah, I think absolutely it probably has. It probably has. I mean, look, I don't watch too much French football, but yeah, you kind of catch wind of what's going on. You look at the table, you do your reading, watch some highlights. It's clear he's not taken a step forward from where he was. And, you know, what was the money they were talking about last year? 55 million, 50 million? You know, they're now saying that, and obviously financial sort of implications come into this as well, but they're saying Lyon would take, what, 30 million, 25 to 30 million. That's a big drop off a year 100%. Later. He should be a year better.
Yeah.
And actually look at
his age.
Right. Buendia and Bissouma probably would have got for 25 million each last summer, but now they're saying 30 to 40.
Yeah.
So you could see that they've built on it. And yeah, I get what you mean. But back to what Romano said, a Ceballos-like midfielder. What does that kind of tell you about Arsenal's transfer strategy, what we want to do next season? How do you feel about that?
Listen, the middle of the park is our biggest problem for me. In an ideal world, I would clean the slate bar Partey.
Yeah, no, I know.
And that would mean
El Neni gone, Xhaka gone, Willett gone, Maitland-Niles gone,
Guendouzi
gone,
Torreira, all of them. That's an ideal world.
It's a big summer, but I think I agree.
But that's me saying that we need it all, essentially. Right. If I'm only happy with Partey in the middle, then I think we need a Bissouma-like player. I think we need a Aouar, Ceballos type player in terms of technical ability. We need it all in the middle.
Yeah.
So Camavinga.
You're hearing shouts for Camavinga.
There's another one.
Yeah, Camavinga will be quality. He does a bit of both as well. He's a real complete midfielder.
Yeah, and we need everything in the middle, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We only have Partey. And that's just me looking at the quality we have there and who I would replace. I'd replace everyone bar Partey. So I think we need both. And I don't want us to make the same mistake again we made last year, where instead of getting both that we needed, we only got one at the detriment of the first half of the season, where that creativity was a miss.
Yeah.
It did no one any favours, Thomas Partey or Arsenal Football Club. So they need to realise that it's not him or him. It's him and him.
Yeah. And actually, you're right, because last summer that was very much a key topic. Was again, you know, Fabrizio Romano was saying Arsenal want one of Aouar or Partey.
Oh yeah.
You know, and there we are saying not or, say and please, because we need both. And obviously, you know, one got over the line, one didn't. Where I think this is a really fascinating update from Romano, where I think he's absolutely spot on, and I know he's just sort of relaying information, but. You know, when you hear certain things and you go, that doesn't feel right to me. That doesn't sound right. I don't know why we would make that kind of deal or make that kind of bid or whatever. But where this absolutely makes sense to me, Arteta, I think, went into those Villarreal games saying, that's it. Like, I'm going to play this the way I want, and that is Partey as the holding midfielder. And for a lot of that sort of last few months, sort of February to the end of the season, Partey was the lone defensive midfielder, and there were two more advanced options. Sabal started playing more, Smith Rowe or Odegaard in the middle, and Partey was kind of the feeder from deep. So I think maybe he sees Partey as his Fernandinho, as his Rodri. He sees him as his holding midfielder.
Where he'd be wrong.
Sorry, you think he'd be wrong?
Yeah.
Well, that's the interesting debate, because end of the season, Onana comes in, does a solid job as the defensive midfielder, and Partey's playing a bit more box to box. So if we signed Bissouma, that would suggest to me he wants to stick with the 4-2-3-1.
To free up Partey a bit.
And also just be a bit more robust in midfield. Yeah. I also think that suits, I was about to say De Bruyne. I think that suits Smith Rowe better. Yeah. I think he's better as a 10, running into space, running in beyond, pulling out wide. I think when you're one of a midfield three, you're more operating those half spaces, kind of, they call it the Italian word mezzala. Do you play Football Manager? Half wing. Yeah. And and I don't think that suits him as much. So I think this is really interesting. It's almost like Fabrizio Romano saying that Arteta is still pursuing what he thinks is going to be his long-term vision at Arsenal, rather than let's get Bissouma because we know he's an upgrade and we'll make it work until I can get the next thing. Do you know what I mean?
The job at hand at Arsenal is so big right now in terms of ins and outs.
Yeah.
That there's going to have to be some sort of prioritization.
Yeah.
As much as I sat upstairs and we spoke about the keep or sell, and I would have got rid of 75% of the squad, in one summer window, that is not going to happen. Even if you have an owner like Roman or Mansour, it's hard to get rid of 8, 9, 10 players in one window.
Yeah. Which
is essentially what we need to do. So, being fair, I've got to understand that, okay, 6, 7 of those can be done this window, and 3, 4 might be have to be another window.
Right.
So potentially there, he brings in maybe 1 or 2 central midfielders this summer, knowing that next summer he brings in another one, and he might focus on right back again this summer on top of central midfield. So there's so many holes we need to plug at the moment that it's just about prioritizing it in the right way this time. So often we go into windows needing a centre back, we'll buy a winger. We need a striker, we'll buy a central midfielder. Prioritize it right this time, because our priorities throughout the last 10 years have been all over the place.
Yeah.
So that's what they need to do in terms of their vision, direction, back to the drawing board. Yes, I know Arteta's just come in 18 months ago, but fix the holes that need immediate fixing.
Yeah.
Let's not be buying players that might be a rotation option now, might be a backup now. We need to fix the first team. So that is interesting, because if it's a Ceballos type midfielder is his preference over Bissouma, then I think he'd be wrong in thinking Partey can do the job that we'd assume he thinks he's going to do.
It sounds like that's exactly what he's telling us, though. It sounds like he's telling us that is exactly what he wants. And there are some options out there, but as we said, Bissouma's right there. I think where Arteta can be shrewd and can be clever if he really thinks about it, well, I'm sure he has really thought about this, but with the 4-2-3-1, I think we agree was our most successful setup this season. When we played that, we looked at our best. If he kept El Neni, who's been fine this season, nothing great, but he's a backup. So El Neni's your backup holding midfielder. Partey's your starting box-to-box. Willock's your backup box-to-box, because let's face it, with what he's done at Newcastle, he's been decent. I think we've got a phone ringing in the background.
And we're not even in many competitions next season anyway.
Yeah, we're not in many competitions next season anyway. So you got Partey as your box-to-box. Willock as your backup box-to-box. El Neni's your backup holding midfielder. You bring in Bissouma. You've kind of covered the first team and the depth there quite well.
Yeah.
Then Aziz maybe is your kind of your youngster who might step in if you need to sort of flesh out the squad a little bit. So at the same time, as much as we say there's loads he's got to do, if he sort of comes to a system that, you know what, is safe, we know kind of works, maybe he doesn't have to do... You got Smith Rowe and Buendia maybe as your number 10s. I don't know, it's all hypothetical, but it's interesting to talk about, and I think Romano's update there was really intriguing.
And look, all the holes are evident now because there are so many holes. Once you start plugging the holes that still exist won't be as evident as they once was, because when you've got so many holes, you're just leaking everywhere.
Yeah.
But if there's only a couple holes here and there, you can manage that. You can manage that through a season. You know, this is what I mean about priorities. So it'll be interesting to see what he goes for in terms of central midfielder, because as much as I say we need 3, we're going to buy 1 this summer.
You think we'll only get the 1?
I think we're only going to get 1. And I think... In my opinion, Bissouma would be my preference over a Ceballos type.
Yeah, with what we've just been talking about, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree because let's say you get a Ceballos type, he gets injured and Willock comes in. That's not like for like.
Yeah.
That's not continuity. That's not consistency. So what are we saying, that we're going to sell Willock? But then you need another central midfielder to come in. So he's got to look at what he's got and what's realistic this summer, and he's got to keep it balanced. And I remember Xhaka got injured and Ceballos came in, but he had to tweak everything because Ceballos doesn't do what Xhaka does. So yeah, he's got a lot to think about there. Another rumour. Let's go into this. So Emi Buendia, what do we know? Firstly, that a bid was made by both Arsenal and Aston Villa. Both were rejected. They said the bids were around £30 million. I think The Sun broke that news, and there are a few other journos who came with that news as well. Now, this is very interesting because according to Sky Sports today at 5 p.m, they said that, they reported the same news, that bids had been rejected earlier in the week. They said one source has told us that Arsenal have made a second offer worth £35 million after initial one of £30 million was rejected. So, there's a story doing the rounds that Arsenal may have gone back in with their second bid, and 35 million is a lot closer to what they're saying would get the bid over the line. I think it was a representative from Norwich himself said that with Aarons and Buendia, it's going to be a figure with a 3 in front of it. He literally said the number 3. So you'd think 35 million is not far off what they're looking for and what we're looking to do. But we have had updates from Chris Wheatley and other journos saying that it's the first offer that's gone in, it's been rejected, talks ongoing. I believe that was what was said, but that's pretty much the gist of it anyway. So, this is interesting. This is a guy you want at Arsenal.
Yeah.
What do you kind of make of these updates?
Again, if I'm talking like someone that believes in all the in the knows, then I'm happy. Because at the end of the day, look, 35 million, that's how you go in for a player like Buendia.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, Arsenal have far too often over transfer windows gone in with a derogatory bid that will put the opposition club off straight away, regardless of what you follow up with. Because the bid is such a piss take that the club look at it like, remember the old what are they smoking there at the
yeah.
Things like that have happened multiple times. That was just the biggest, most laughable example.
Yeah, it was, I remember we wanted Mark Schwarzer from Fulham in 2010. We bid 2 million, they wanted 3, we didn't do it. We played another year with whoever it was in goal who wasn't good enough.
Yeah, so we do things like that. Whereas if Buendia's price tag seemed to be 40 million going into this summer, then 30 million is an acceptable first bid. That's a very acceptable testing the water type of bid.
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah.
You don't put off Norwich, but at the same time, you're not, giving them what they asked for straight away. So I like the approach. I
like it too. Isn't it frustrating that with Buendia and Bissouma, they're there. We talk about Arsenal doing their business quickly.
Yeah.
And, everyone's declared that the interest is there from Arsenal, whether they're top targets or not top targets. I want Arsenal to have the highest ambitions, and maybe Edu's in the background going, we know they're there, but, we're looking at others, and trust me, this is big. A bit like Partey was last season, a signing no one expected. Is it not, though, frustrating? Because it is for me that they're there. There's not much resistance from Brighton and Norwich. This isn't what Palace were doing with Zaha.
Yeah.
It's 80 million or bust. No, this is doable. Is it not just frustrating that we've not, at least with one of the deals, we don't look more advanced with it?
It is. But again, I just feel like it's very much being reactive again. Like you said, last summer we could have potentially got both Bissouma and Buendia for about 25 mil each.
Yeah.
Roughly.
Yeah.
At that time, you go in, you get the business done, 2 players in, 50 million, you improve the squad. You move on a year and they're closer to 50 million each.
Yeah, I know.
And that's what
incredible.
It's too reactive over here. We should be able to go in and pinch players, but the longer we wait and the more we allow some of these younger players to progress, develop, the less chance Arsenal have of getting them, because we get priced out. Bigger clubs come in, better clubs come in, and we lose out more often than not. Right now, we're going up against Aston Villa, it seems, for Buendia. Can I say confidently we beat Aston Villa to get him? No. Because we've lost out on Louis Gustavo to Wolfsburg in the past.
Yeah, God, I remember that.
So, let's just hope we're learning our lessons.
And that's incredibly frustrating. I remember the Louis Gustavo one. With Buendia, while I, no disrespect to Aston Villa and Aston Villa fans, while I think he'd want to come to us over them, he's also going to want to go to a club that genuinely wants him. Yeah. So there's going to be a part of you that goes, I'll just go Villa, because in 2-3 years, Chelsea might pick me up for 60, 75 million. You know, if that's the direction his kind of career goes in, and I think Arsenal need to be careful not to mess around with these ones too much. Is all I'd say.
We haven't got the clout we used to in terms of
true. Yeah,
thinking our name.
that we can keep them waiting.
Yeah, keep them.
You wait
waiting.
there while we figure out what we're doing,
Yeah.
or we might. Yeah, they'll be like, well, I'm off somewhere else then. They're saying that there's a few Spanish clubs as well in for Buendia.
Okay.
You know, I can see
I wouldn't be
Atletico Madrid
surprised.
wanting him.
Italian clubs as well. I wouldn't be surprised because he's done very good things over here in
Yeah.
England. A couple of years in Championship, and I give him credit for that. If you look at his injury record in the Championship, he played pretty much 99% of both seasons. And for a player that's small like he is and from where he is, you
Yeah.
wouldn't associate that type of talent to cope with a Championship type of football. But
Yeah.
he has done it very well. Now, the one season he had in the league, numbers-wise, on the face of things, it doesn't look great. Norwich got relegated, poor performance all round, one of the worst Premier League teams we've seen. But when you delve into the numbers, and stats are not everything,
Yeah.
but he did create a lot of chances.
Yeah.
Top 5 in Europe. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying that's justification, but if I couple that up with his couple of years in the Championship, where he's shown a resilience, a stubbornness,
Yeah.
on top of the quality, I'd be happy to bring him in. And
Yeah,
I don't
I
see
would
him as
too.
a right-sided midfielder. I see him more as a number 10 attacking mid.
I completely agree.
So
I
I'd
completely
be
agree.
happy. And listen, I got to understand where Arsenal are right now.
Yeah.
You know, we're not
I-
going to go in and get the top dogs from Europe. So
I agree. I'd be going, and I think he could become one of the top dogs in Europe. Like
Yeah.
I think he's got that potential. Should we take some comments? See what people are saying. What I don't know what you guys make of the Buendia Bissouma rumours.
we got a lot of Patson Daka requests.
Interesting. Well, let me have a little look if there's anything going on that I might have missed.
Well, I don't know if they're saying there's anything headline-wise, but I think a lot of people are very interested in him, bringing him in. Obviously, we've got Lacazette and Eddie in their last year, their contract. It's an area that we should be looking to do something in, whether that's bring in a striker or let go of these two we have with a year left. Something's got to be done.
Yeah, I completely
And
agree.
I think Daka would be a very viable option if we were in the market for one.
Yeah. Good player. Fair enough.
Good numbers.
Well, does anyone say anything about Buendia, Bissouma? Anyone?
Yeah,
I mean,
but,
I get the impression from the fan base on social media that they want these deals over the line. I'm not seeing much resistance to the idea of signing these guys.
yeah, so far I say 80-20 in favour of Bissouma, and I'd say Buendia's looking more 70-30 in terms of the comments.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Which is fair, because listen, I understand that we are Arsenal, you know. We come from a long line of history and trophies and competing at the highest level. But the last 10 years, we haven't been. And as much as our standards have dropped, we also have to be real with ourselves and understand that even if a new owner came in at this moment in time, there's work to be done to fix the reputation of this club.
Yeah.
Real work needs to be done.
Well, that leads really nicely on to the next bit of news. Touching on owners, it wasn't that long ago we were talking about the Super League. Obviously, it came and went pretty quickly.
Yeah. 4-day turnaround.
It's funny because there's a lot of rumours about whether actually it still exists in kind of its own format. You know, screenshots and leaks of signed documents from Tim Lewis and stuff went round, and all sorts of stuff. But I want to touch on this news that's not really Arsenal related, but I think it's definitely something Arsenal should be taking a look at. This is Joel Glazer, who is very unpopular with Man United fans right now. So Joel Glazer and Manchester United have formed a fan advisory board at the club. On top of that, they've agreed to do work on the stadium. Now, obviously, we speak to Saeed all the time. We speak to a lot of United fans, Flex, whatever. People who go to Manchester United and Old Trafford tell you that the area needs work. The stadium needs work. It leaks. There's problems. And this is clearly one of the things he's picked out that he's addressed. I've got a quote here from the United report. You say, from Joel Glazer, "Fans are the lifeblood of Man United Football Club, and I am personally committed to ensuring that they are given an enhanced voice through the creation of a fan advisory board and a fan share scheme." So I think they were saying that shares might be sold back to the fans. I don't know how many. I've not looked into the details. And we're not really here to talk about that too much. We're more here to delve into what the Kroenkes have done since all this, what they should have done. And even though obviously we all want them to sell, we know that, what's the kind of, what could they do to at least somewhat appease us on the back of this anyway?
The Glazers remind me so much of the Kroenkes, you know.
Yeah.
They remind me so much because I look at that quote from Glazers and I say to myself, why now?
Yeah.
Because there's pressure.
Right.
The only reason you're coming out to talk about fan engagement and whatnot, it's just the pressure.
Yeah.
So, in my honest opinion, if I was a Man United fan, I'd take that with a pinch of salt. And if Kroenke said the same thing, I'd also take it with a pinch of salt. Now, I've looked into the behind the scenes of what Glazer said there, and I think there was a United fans forum meeting and whatnot. And I read something about, now I can't confirm this, but something about potential of the fan share would mean equal votes to the majority share of the holders on anything moving forward. Those are the sort of things I would like.
That's a pretty big. It's a pretty big statement.
Which I don't think the Glazers would like, because listen, if you've got 100% of something and you give the fans 10%, what next? You know, as much as I'm in favour of fans getting back the club in some way, shape, or form, or the owners caring enough about the fans to actually listen. What happens if this whole thing comes in and 90% stays with Kroenke, 10% goes to us fans, or 20-80 or 70-30? What actually happens?
Yeah.
What happens next? Because at the end of the day, the owners will have less of a share in the company, would be asking them to put more money in to a company they got less of. It's such a long road to where we want to be, that we have to ignore things like what the Glazers said there if it comes out of the Kroenke's mouth.
Yeah.
All of that talk about engagement, getting to know the fans and fan schemes and shares and all of this stuff.
But you know what makes me laugh as well is that even what they have told us, I think they think it's like a big favour, and it's really like, I think I read Josh Kroenke's promised that he'll attend one fan forum a year.
A year? Can you imagine that? A year with all the technology in the world, he's going to attend one a year, and he thinks.
Wow! Thank you.
And that's imagine someone told him to say that as good PR.
Yeah. Someone said, "Listen, tell him your mate."
They don't even pay that person enough, because they haven't got a fucking good one there either, mate. Even their PR manager isn't paid enough, because he ain't doing a good job, or she ain't doing a good job, whoever it is, or they ain't doing a good job. I don't know.
Listen, I try to be really balanced about all this. When we talk about wanting the Kroenkes out, I try to look at why you'd want them in. Not because I want them in, but because I think context on both sides and balance is important. It's always been the way I do things. If the Kroenkes were to genuinely appease me in some way, it would be to come out and say, we know we've had a terrible season, but Arteta is our man. Yeah. We really believe in his project. The work he's doing behind the scenes, you're going to reap the rewards of it in the next 2, 3, 4 years. Trust me. Mertesacker's doing a great job in the academy. We're going to back Arteta's vision, and we are really confident that we're going to make it back. And we know it's been difficult for Arsenal fans. We're going to be more present, and trust me, all hands on deck to try and improve this. Something that I've just made that up. I've just made that up in my head. Because I know what Arsenal fans want. Yeah. Because I know what we want to hear.
You know what you want.
I know what I want. And listen, that wouldn't make me forgive them, but it'd make me at least think, all right, they're trying. And, I believe, there's always room for forgiveness. Unless, not always. But, and I think we should try and move forward, because ultimately they're here. It's a bit like with Arteta. Do I think he deserves to lose his job for what we've seen this season? Absolutely. But he's here, so do I want him to do well? Of course I want him to do well. I don't want him to do so badly that till he gets sacked. I want it to get better. I want him to improve. And that's the same for the Kroenkes. I want them to get better. I want what they're doing to improve. But, you see what other owners are doing, even if it is the bare minimum, and it's like, can we really take this too seriously? At least it's something. And
we just done the supporters club, and we talked about, what they could have done. And even engaging with us now is too late, in my opinion. The stuff you just said is things they should have done years ago. When Josh came out and said be excited and all of that rubbish, after the season we had following that be excited, why not come out again? Why not speak again? Why not, talk now when we're out of everything? And you managed to sneak into Europe through the FA Cup. You didn't. They wouldn't have talked again this summer had it not been for the Super League.
Yeah, I think that's true.
And the fact that Josh can come out in the fans forum only 3-4 weeks ago and say he's going to engage more, when we just finished 8th, Josh. We just got knocked out of the semi-final by Villarreal, Josh. When are you going to talk to us, Josh?
You sacked.
Exactly, and it's not about trust the process. Like, they shouldn't be telling us to trust. We should want to trust. We should see something in it to trust. They need to run the process. Forget telling us to trust the process. They need to show us what this process is about, because the only process I've seen is taking a club that was great and making it a club that's bants.
Yeah.
Sad.
Well, look, we've got the Kroenkes. I don't think we want the Glazers, but at least they've been spending big money at times, and at least they, fan advisory board, shares back to fans, whatever, at least it's something. We're going to wrap up in a sec, but there are 2 bits of last news. Some of it's just coming very recently. We're going to leave that till last. Firstly, happy retirement to Johan Djourou. Played 10 years at Arsenal. There was a loan spell in there at Birmingham. 76 appearances for Switzerland as well. Look, he didn't have the career he wanted or we wanted at Arsenal.
Yeah.
But he had a very good footballing career anyway, I think it's fair to say. I expected more. I remember he came back from an injury with Koscielny and he kept Didier Drogba quiet in a 3-1 win at the Emirates, and we thought we found that it was Koscielny, wasn't it? And we thought
I remember him with Senderos as well. It might have been Senderos.
Giroud. Did he start that dreaded Carling Cup final against Birmingham? I think he did.
Don't even remind me about that. But he might have, yeah. I think he actually did.
I think he did. So yeah, listen. It
Happy retirement anyway, mate. I think he's a fan of AFTV too. So yeah.
No, big up. I think he had injuries, didn't he? He had injury problems, especially at the start, and obviously it didn't work out. But happy retirement. Good luck with whatever goes on after.
Endeavours, and all of that.
And lastly, this is some nice news to end on. Arsenal's Player of the Year has been unveiled by Arsenal themselves. No guesses who it's for.
Granit Xhaka.
Well done. Imagine. Bukayo Saka.
Come on.
Bukayo Saka, Player of the Year. Absolutely deserved. Pepe came second, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
And I'm glad that fans are sort of giving him the appreciation he deserves for that second half of the season he put up, really. I always feel bad saying second half of the season because January to May, or end of May, is actually much longer than sort of mid-September to end of December, but he's done well. A couple things on Bukayo Saka, which they've mentioned in this tweet. This is just in 1 week. Named in England's Euro 2020 squad, nominated for Premier League Young Player of the Year, scored his first England goal, nominated for PFA Young Player of the Year, and then wins Arsenal's Player of the Season. So yeah, not a bad 7 days for Bukayo Saka.
Yeah, well done to him, man.
Yeah.
Credit to him.
Seriously, big up.
Hopefully, he has a good tournament.
Yeah.
Let's just hope for that. We got a super chat here from James as well.
Not me.
Not you, unless you got a burner. But yeah, we got a super chat here from James. Right now. And he says, guys, do you think we will get any signings done before the Euros? Let me answer that. No. I would like to get players and early integrate them like Liverpool have with Konate. I say no because the Euros are literally in 6 days. For Arsenal to get a transfer done in 6 days, would have to have the bid accepted maybe last week, if I'm honest. Do you see us getting anyone in before next Friday?
No.
There we go.
No.
And you're the optimistic one.
No, but that wasn't even my target. My target was by the end of the Euros have players in.
Yeah.
And I don't even think we'll do that. There's a chance of Onana, but we're waiting on a court case. Only Arsenal could be wanting to sign a keeper, but waiting on a court. In fairness, I read up on that court case, and that sounds really unfair on him.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I feel like actually there should be more talk about it. But so he's waiting for the verdict to have his ban either decreased or lifted or whatever. But yeah, I don't think anything's going to happen by the end of the Euros is the reality. I think by that time we'll be close to something as kind of the team are coming back and everyone's back to work. But yeah, unfortunately not. But
it's a summer full of tournaments as well, so players are going to be left, right and centre.
Yeah.
There's Copa America, there's Olympics,
everyone's everywhere. Even Gabriel Martinelli out at the Olympics. There's lots going on. I will say though, in fairness, Bissouma, Buendia, Onana, 3 signings I think instantly elevate us.
Yeah.
There's been actually a lot of smoke around those signings, a lot of talk from really reputable journos. So that's a good thing. Normally it's kind of quiet, rumours, murmurs till you're about a month or two in. Actually, this has come out quite quickly, so maybe they are trying to do something quick. But I'm going off history here. So
let's hope for the best.
Yeah, let's hope for the best. Anyway, this was fun.
We're spotting each other now, but next week when it's Turkey, Italy, I don't know. I don't know what might happen at the end.
Do tune in to Don Robbie. We're live at Box Park.
Yeah,
I'll be in the Italy shirt. Do people know I don't think people know I'm Italian. They'll be like, "Why are you Italian?"
Hey, I must
explain.
You
asking me where's the Italian in
Explain
James.
the lineage to them then. His great-grandfather's cousins.
Mum's Italian. Got all my cousins who live there. Family in Milan. I go every year. I lived in Italy. for a year. But I did live in Italy, so I'm representing Italy. So check us out on the Don Robbie Watch Along. We're covering every single watch along. Every watch along. We're obviously covering every watch along. We're covering every match, doing a watch along on the Don Robbie. You're gonna have Expressions, Flex, we'll be there. Everyone's Sophie, everyone's gonna be there. And AFTV News Daily every weekday at 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
So
every day of the week, people.
To engage with and enjoy.
I just checked. We ain't even hit 1,000 likes yet, people. So get the video up to 1,000 likes. There's still 3,700 people watching. If you want to see this every single day, get it up to 1,000 in the next hour or so. We got a super chat from Ashwin. He says, Buendia and Bissouma would unlock Oba.
Yeah.
Would hope so.
Yeah, I think they would. Yeah, I agree with that.
Would hope so. Let's hope it unlocks some more trophies and more
Let's hope
success.
it unlocks a few places up the table.
Yeah, that's what we need to unlock
hell.
first. Definitely.
Yeah.
And we got one more here. If we're not going to renew Lacazette's contract, we need another striker. We should look into Zapata. He's a beast. I don't know much about him.
Oh yeah, I know the name. Comes up on Football Manager all the time.
Yeah, I don't know much about him.
But no, I don't. Yeah.
Sorry, Mark, don't know much about him. But listen, I'll do some research afterwards. You did say we should look into him, so I guess until Arsenal start getting linked to the player, then I don't want to gas myself up for transfers.
Is it Duvan?
Yeah.
Yeah, Colombian striker.
How old is he?
30 years old.
Oh my God, Mark.
Well, there's
too old, mate. Too old.
Plays for Atalanta, to be fair.
Atalanta are good, but the thing about Atalanta, they got a nice young squad.
Yeah.
So when you got a vibrant squad with an attacking philosophy, the 30-year-old striker might look better than he is.
Very true. Very true.
But people,
good options.
This has been News Daily. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Like I said, get the video up to 1,000. We're nearly at 700 now. Any last thoughts, James?
No, just the players are out there. Go get it done. Go get it done. We've been waiting far too long to see Arsenal be proactive in the market, so it's time.
Definitely time. It's definitely time. It's definitely time.
I think so too. Right. Thanks for joining, guys. It's been fun. Catch you on the next one. Supporters Club coming out soon. Yeah, we'll see you next time.
Yeah, Supporters Club tomorrow, 1 p.m.